Good afternoon. I'm here on Beyond the Code at the Blockchain Expert Conference in Airport City in Israel, and I'm joined by my good friend and colleague, Roy Keidar. Roy, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Roy heads up the blockchain and crypto practice at Arnon Tadmor. Is that what you guys would call that? They almost said Yigal Arnon. Arnon Tadmor-Levy, and he's really like one of the OGs in the space. He's been deeply involved in technology generally for a very, very long time, and specifically emerging tech like AI and crypto. And we'll tell you a little bit more about it in a minute. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us like your crypto genesis block story, but also just your own personal story. Like, how did you end up getting into what it is that you do today?
Actually, funny story. So, from about 12 years ago, I got a friend of mine who was writing a book about blockchain. I mean, you should be interested. And he sent me a first draft. His name was Roy Keidar. Let me mention, he's a futurist. So he sent me the first draft about the future of blockchain, about how that's going to affect society, economy, law. And so the last two chapters was about the new blockchain-based state. And I was reading the drafts. I say, well, blockchain, that's really amazing.
What year was this?
I heard about Bitcoin first, but understanding the blockchain. So we're redrafting the last two chapters. But then I said, I gotta get more immersed in the crypto aspect of it. I bought my first Bitcoin, sold it right afterwards.
How much was it for?
$300.
Wow.
Sold for $700. Was super, super happy with that. Now I'm
a little bit sad.
It's sad. But I was fascinated with blockchain on the blockchain aspect, from the impact on society and the economy, and on law, of course. And my practice started from that aspect. So I built it on from there.
Wow. Okay. And so, what are you doing today?
So
but you skipped a few parts, because I remember, must have been about 12 years ago. I was working for the Netanya municipality. I was like head of innovation and tech, and one of like the new big things was 3D printing. They had like makers, they were called. Right today, like nobody uses 3D printers anymore. It was very exciting. They took us to Tel Aviv, this place XLN, I think it was called, and you were like the CEO or the founder of this project.
I found it. Yes.
So you kind of skipped that.
Well,
tell us a little bit about XLN.
So it's actually because you and I actually meet in so many different ways, right? So so that was when I was not a lawyer.
Okay.
I was always into emerging tech. So 3D printers and all these guys, laser cutting, all that kind of aspects. So we set up about 13 years ago. We set up we call maker spaces, network of maker spaces from the XLN First Lab network, where people can actually innovate using hardware, not just software, not just computers. Let's innovate.
But it was like geared more towards youth, right?
Youth, but also people are getting into technology, but don't have the space to actually create. So we're saying the makers of going to be the future leaders of technology in that sense. So 3D printers, laser cutters, CNCs, all these kind of machines allow you to actually innovate and create in a secure sense. So we actually set up like 15 of those all across the campus. In Matanya maybe wasn't, but we had in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, you keep Tel Aviv.
We had in Daphna, so the far north, and also in the south. And we had this network of making spaces for people to innovate, which is really, really cool and fun. And my house is still have all these kind of
these like gadgets.
My self scan, my kids scan, all that kind of stuff. So that was before I was actually way into the crypto space. But this is part of discovering new technology, understanding the impact on society.
Being bullish and I think curiosity is like the key. Like to be able to get into any of these industries and be able to advise on them from a legal perspective, you first have to be like curious about them and want to like seek out that knowledge and understanding. I think it's very different. Like emerging tech is like it's this like weird buzzword that people use.
It's a buzzword.
But I think it's like it's more than just high tech generally. I think it's like technologies that are nuanced to the extent that they cause us to ask questions about how we're going to regulate them and how we're going to integrate them into society. It's not just like more of the same. It's like real, like, like game changers.
So, well, technology.
You can not agree with me. That's fine.
No, I actually fully agree with you. This technology changes our lives so fast, and the pace of change changes as well. So sometimes, back in the days, 20, 30, 40 years ago, 100 years ago, it took a while the technology was finished and then and immersed into how society is built and how we behave. But today, the pace of change is so fast. And we see it with AI as well, right? So it changes, I mean, almost, I don't know if you know, but in a couple of months, that's 43 years for ChatGPT, right?
Wow.
3 years back. But this has completely changed our lives. So with crypto and blockchain, now it becomes much more mainstream. So you understand how that impacts our lives. And I'm seeing pension funds now diversifying into holding certain crypto assets. If you ask me 5 years ago, that's going to happen, no way. So things change. Also, our mindset change. But usually technology changes faster than the mindset. So the gap is always one. So I tend to focus my practice also on the legal, on these worn gaps where I can actually create some legal solutions into the new emerging technology space.
Okay, so how have you done that? Like, give me an example where you like use like technology and implemented it into your practice to make yourself more efficient, or
Yeah. So let me give you what I'm doing now with the AI space. So I know you all into blockchain, but actually AI space. So I'm actually working. So the firm is, I think it's one of the biggest one now. It's about 400 lawyers. We are heavily investing into AI tools inside the firm.
okay,
So really putting an effort and resources into that, in adjusting the tools, not only buying off the shelf kind of tools to be used, the Harvey spellbook, also actually creating and developing our own specific tailor-made tools
very
to
impressive.
support some of the efforts in the firm. So whether it's real estate or litigation, doesn't matter. They have specific needs which we can actually address, make them more efficient, ultimately for the benefit of the client. The client is going to demand, well, I'm using the AI tools. We're not using. Yes, we are. We want to use it as safe as we can. And we also want to use it in a way that it be benefiting the client in terms of cost effectiveness, also in terms of responsiveness, timelines, and so on. So I think that's heavily invested, and I'm happy actually to be leading this efforts in the firm. We'll also be able to add another my small contribution to the development of technology in the middle space.
I think I mean, I'm very impressed with everything you guys are doing. I'll tell you, actually, just this week, we're looking to hire another associate for our team, and I actually interviewed somebody who works at your firm. And at some point in the interview, I was asking him about, if I threw an M&A transaction at him, because he's not an M&A lawyer, how would he deal with that? So he's like, oh, just ask Harvey. So yeah, I think that like even like people would be embarrassed to give an answer like that like 2 years ago, and like we've integrated AI to the extent that we can no longer not only that can't do things without AI, but like it's much more of a skill now to be able to use AI in a way that's like efficient and responsible. And like I don't not want my lawyer to use AI. I much prefer that you work more efficiently and you can give me like a more comprehensive and quick answer. I would expect that you do it in a compliant fashion, that like you're using like SOC 2 and regulated tools so that my information isn't getting released. And I was actually like very impressed to hear the type of tools that you guys are using. He wasn't just using Harvey, he was using like 5 different AI tools. And I think that's going to give you like an optimal output. And I mean, even still, like the output is only ever as good as the input. So you need to know what you're looking for, and you need to know what, when you get the output, you have to be able to vet it. And like only really a good lawyer can do that. And I saw another thing, sorry, a firm that we work with in the US recently sent us an engagement letter for one of our clients to sign. And I saw that they added a clause regarding like their use of AI. Like, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like it used to be like you would hide the fact that you're using AI. You wouldn't, now people are proud of it, but like they're doing it in a way that's, responsible and scalable.
Exactly. So I think we're getting over the stage of AI shame. So let's move back to that. I think we're getting over that. Yes, and there needs to be a safe use of it, which requires a lot of attention. Right? How do you train like fresh interns into a world where they are expected to use AI, which is going to certainly benefit their workflow, but still do it in a safe way and learn? Well, that's a challenge. What's going to be the business model in a law firm where which relies on billable hours, where AI can cut a lot of the time?
I think that billable hours are something that's obsolete in the past.
So that is process of evolving and changing. We try to figure it out. All of us try to figure it out exactly. And also, education. We need to educate the client, educating ourselves. So I think that this is something that where technology is really impacting our life on a daily basis. And either you are on the wave or you are under the waves.
Yeah, and you can't be scared to try things out. Like the best thing to do is to integrate these solutions, mess around with them, see what works, see what doesn't work, and it's going to take us time to get to a point where we know how to use these the right way. So the key is to start now, make mistakes, and fix them so you get to a point where you're like fully proficient and not like chasing the crowd.
Exactly. Don't be. I'm saying, don't be afraid to experiment.
Absolutely.
That's the only way we can learn.
Yeah. Roy, thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure being here.
Enjoy the conference and keep building and innovating.